Hey there everybody, my name is Keno and welcome back to your Toronto Maple Leafs franchise mode series here on the channel. Now, in that last episode we didn't do any simming, we just went through free agency, and it's because it was a big free agent window for us, okay? We made a lot of moves after, including the draft episode just prior to that. In this offseason, we made a lot of moves to make this team stronger and better than it's ever been since either we started this franchise mode series or in the last decade, real life and franchise mode series combined. Now our forward core is looking great. Grebyankin, Matthews, Marner on the top line, Cowan, Tavares, Nylander on that second line, Robertson, Minton, Nyes on the third line, and then Iafallo, Faksa, and Holmberg on that fourth line. But I do plan to make a trade to start this episode because I wasn't done with the moves necessarily. There was one issue that I'll get to in just a little bit that I want to fix before we start simming. But the big topic of the last episode, and even the one before that, was adding to our defensive core. And look at it now. The only players that remain on this defensive core from last season are Riley, Pesce, and Valimaki, with Braden Schneider, Alexander Nikishin, and K'Andre Miller as new additions to this team, and honestly, it looks great. Now, I will be honest, I completely forgot that we had grabbed Alexander Nikishin, nor did I really expect him to jump from an 80 to an 85 after we acquired him. But I'm not complaining too much. He looks amazing. It just means that Jordan Donovan doesn't draw into the lineup because of that. And these aren't my confirmed line pairings yet. I like K'Andre Miller and Alexander Nikishin. I feel like Riley and Pesce should be in that top though. At least Pesce. Like doing K'Andre Miller and Pesce, that's fine. Riley and Nikishin, that works too. I'm nervous about Nikishin and Riley both being on the same pair though, given that they're both offensively minded defensemen. But I mean, they're still both great defenders. I want to see what they can do to start the season. Now, back to that issue that I was talking about. There was actually a few issues after everything was said and done at the end of recording last episode that I still was a little iffy about. One of them being our goaltending situation, where Hildeby's up to an 84, Samsonov is backing him up after reacquiring him in the offseason, and we have Joe Woll sitting as an 82 as a healthy scratch. It seems good, especially when you consider the fact that we have Laurent Brossoit and Anton Forsberg also as 82s down in the minors as well. But that is depending a lot on either a rookie to step up and be a star, or for a few backup level goalies to be our starter for the season, and that's a bit of a concerning thought for me. Maybe we should have spent a little bit of money and brought UC Saros back, or given him 1 to 2 years, but I feel like the money that we spent was best spent on defenders. But that's not the issue that I'm going to address to start this episode, actually. The issue that I'm going to address is that we have too many lefties. On our forward core, we have way too many lefties. Grebyankin's a lefty, Matthews is a lefty, Marner's a righty, Cowan's a lefty, Tavares is a lefty, Nylander is a righty. But that's it after that. There is not a single other righty on this roster for forwards. And that's a bit of a concern, especially when it comes to power plays. Now, I have targeted a trade. We are moving on from a bit of a long-time Leaf, but it's for the best of this team and the betterment of our future. Alright, and the trade I'm looking to make is actually a little different than I originally planned, but it's still a decent one. We're going to be moving on from newly acquired Jakub Vrana and newly acquired Jordan Donovan to the Dallas Stars for forward Logan Stankoven. Now, Stankoven is listed as a high top 6 potential, second line forward, 84 overall. He's still only 22 years old. He plays center and left wing. He's a right-handed shot, which is perfect. And those individual attributes look amazing. He's speedy, he's a bit aggressive, he's got a great shot, great offensive awareness, he can play the puck very well, and his defensive category is nothing to scoff at either. We know that we can rely on him to win faceoffs. It actually looks like a great trade for us, and he's on an entry-level contract for the remainder of this year with no extension in place, so that gives us time to negotiate with him, as we have to do with K'Andre Miller. I'll be honest that I wasn't too interested in moving on from Jordan Donovan because I want to see what we have, but honestly, we have a plethora of top 4 defenders right now, and Jordan Donovan is one of them. He's 21 years old. He's listed as a low elite potential with a top 4 role, and his individual attributes look great. I would love to keep him on the team. He can play both sides of the ice, but I feel like this is something that we just have to unfortunately part with for the betterment of our team. We still have defenders in the minors like Elias Salmonson, Logan Stanley, Simon Benoit. We have a lot of defenders that we can call up in case of an emergency, and I feel like that makes Donovan expendable. The other option was to move Nick Robertson and join him with his brother Jason Robertson over in Dallas. But honestly, I'm a little nervous about moving on from Nick Robertson with how cap compliant he is. I mean, he's 24 years old, low elite potential, third line scoring role, 83 overall, so Stankoven's just a little better than him, His individual attributes are pretty good. He's well-rounded. He's got a decent defensive category, although his defensive awareness isn't that great. It was kind of like a wash in order to acquire Logan Stankoven. The only difference would be that Stankoven shoots right and is a few years younger. I felt that this was not the play to make. I didn't think so, and especially with his contract. He's got this year plus 2 more years at $1.75 million. Even if he puts up 30-40 points, that's a steal. That's a steal. Even if he puts up 20 points, $1.75 million is pretty good for 20 to 30 points. I have no problem with keeping him on that. So we are going to keep the trade as is. I think this will go through straight up. I don't really want to ask for too much more because Stankoven is a pretty good prospect for the Dallas Stars. I had originally targeted Wyatt Johnston, but they weren't willing to move from him no matter what I threw at them. So let's go. Jorian Donovan and Jakub Vrana for Logan Stankoven. Will this go through? It just needs to be sweetened a little bit, so we're just going to throw in a late round pick. So Winnipeg Jets 7th round pick in this year's draft, plus Donovan and Vrana for Logan Stankoven. This will go through. And welcome to the Toronto Maple Leafs, Logan Stankoven. Alright, and the new look roster is looking pretty decent. Honestly, in my opinion, it's looking a lot stronger. We have Gravyankin, Matthews, Marner on that top line because I want to see if they can get that chemistry that they had last season back together. We have Stankoven and Minton with Nylander on that second line, and I didn't realize that Minton and Stankoven were both Kamloops Blazers, so hopefully we'll get a little bit of chemistry between them. We have Robertson, Tavares, Nyes on that third line, and then Iafallo with Cowan and Faksa on that fourth line, and Faksa can be switched out for Pontus Holmberg if we need to, but that is looking a lot stronger in my opinion. I know it's a small move, but it's a decent move. It's a decent move to bring in a scoring winger. Defensively, we don't need to make any changes. It's Miller, Pesce, Riley, Nikishin, and Valimaki Schneider. The only thing I might be considering to do would be moving Miller down to that third pair and Valimaki back up with Pesce if Miller does struggle. But it does give us a bit of a problem when it comes to our defensive depth because, as I said at the end of last episode, if Nikishin and Schneider do great, plus the growth of Elias Salmonson down in the minors, we could find Pesce as expendable and free up some cap space. I mean, I wouldn't mind keeping him. He's an 89 overall right defender who's big and he can stop the puck. It's great. But if we have to move on from him for cap reasons, we'll hopefully be able to do that. On the left side, though, it's an interesting situation because Keandre Miller and Morgan Riley are both great defenders, but Yusuf Valimaki did amazing for us last season, and in my opinion is a top 4 defender who should be up there with Pesce. But he can't be because Miller does demand that ice time. He commands that ice time because of how good he is as a defender. So we're going to have to see how the team does. I have no problem making line changes and demoting Miller or demoting Riley if he struggles. But we have to take this slowly because I want to make this team as successful as it can be this season. With all that done though, I think we're ready to sim through the preseason, see how this team does, and do probably the first 20-25 games of the season in this video because I can't be recording for too long, not because I don't have time. I actually have a wealth of time now. I've done some changes in my private life. Sorry for banging the mic. I've done some changes in my private life that actually have opened up time for recording every single day and large amounts of time. So it's beautiful. It's bueno. It's amazing. But I'm on my old console and NHL 24 just runs like snot on this console. I mean, if I advance a day, you can see it takes, with nothing going on, it still takes a little bit of time, okay? It's going a little fast right now, but if I hit edit lines, we're waiting, and there we go. It's almost fully loaded up, and now it's fully loaded up. So you can see how it's going to be a little bit draining on me to be recording and going back between editing lines for any injuries and stuff like that, or any lack of consistent good play. So we're going to do about 20-25 games in this episode, and then we will end it there. But let me jump through the preseason and I'll be back with you guys. Alright, and the team did fairly good through the preseason, going 5-0-2. Marner with 13 points in 7 games is nothing to scoff at. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with it, but we can't usually use the preseason as a good outlier for how the regular season will do, or a good outline for how the regular season will do. So we're just going to have to wait and see and jump into this first game against the Buffalo Sabres to start our season. So we are ready to go here at the KeyBank Arena in Buffalo, New York for our, not home opener, but our season opener. First half of a back-to-back. Let's go. First period. and it's scoreless after 1, shots 12 apiece. So pretty good start for Hildeby in his first run as a starting goaltender. Let's see, second period. Very good, and look who gets the first goal for the Toronto Maple Leafs in the 2025-2026 NHL season. It's none other than Logan Stankoven on the power play. You'll love to see it. Shots 24-23 now for your Toronto Maple Leafs going into the third period. Oh, and Fraser Minton with a power play goal as well makes it 2-0, and that's how it ends. Shots 36-33 for your Toronto Maple Leafs, and not only do the Kamloops Blazers connection get us our only goals of the game, but Hildeby notches a shutout in his first full start. That's amazing. Like, first start as an NHL starter. You love to see that, but I will quickly clarify that just because Hildeby is the highest rated goaltender on this team, it doesn't lock him in as being our starter for this season. I don't usually care about a goalie's overall. If you've watched the Montreal Canadiens series, you'll see that. I was in favor of starting 79 overall Caden Primo in that series over 84 overall goaltenders and 85 overall goaltenders because he was getting wins. I only care about who can do good and get wins with the team chemistry that we have. If Hildeby can do it, then Hildeby will be the starter. If he can't, then it's Samsonov. If he can't, then it's Woll. We'll have to see. I don't even mind going all the way to Forsberg if this team is struggling, but that's a good way to start the season. Now we're going to our home opener against the Nashville Predators. And you know what? Let's slow sim this one too. Usually tradition is just to slow sim the first and last games of the video with a few thrown in, so we're going to do this one as a throw in, our home opener against the Nashville Predators, second half of a back-to-back. Let's go. First period. Not the greatest first period. Forsberg starts the scoring for the Predators. Mark Pysyk gets the second on Dennis Hildeby. Shots are 13-6 for the Predators, so they're really pouring it on. Let's see if we can bounce back here. Second period. We don't bounce back. Forsberg notches his second of the game, followed by Cody Glass with under 2 minutes to go in the period. Shots are 24-13 now for the Preds, so they're almost doubling us in shots, and they have a 4-0 lead on us going into the third period. So let's see, can we bounce back, or are we going to be done like dinner? And we do kind of bounce back. Grebyankin notches 2, but it's a little too late as we drop this one 4-2. Not the greatest game, but you know what? It was the second half of a back-to-back. I can't really complain too much. But we're going to jump into this game here against the Vancouver Canucks. We're going to quick sim it because I do have to get through the games eventually, and going back and forth between the menus slows me down a bit. So let's go against the Vancouver Canucks, still at the Scotiabank Arena, game 3 of the season. And it's a 4-0 win. Holy crap. That is a scary stat. That is a bit of a scary stat for us against the Pittsburgh Penguins here. Game 4 of the season, still at Scotiabank Arena. Penguins are looking for their first win of the season, and Keandre Miller goes down to a sore hip. We're going to replace him and then see how we did, and we lose 3-2. So that's not great, but it's not bad either. I don't even know if we have a defender. Hold on, let me take a look at the lines. All right, the lines are set. I realized after we traded away Donovan, I didn't call up a defender to replace him on the roster as the 7th defender. So I have called up Simon Benoit. Love to have him back with the team. He's on that third pair with Braden Schneider, and Valamak, he's been bumped up to the top pairing with Pesce as he was last season. Let's go against the Columbus Blue Jackets, game 5 of the season. Both of us sitting with a 2-2-0 record. How do we fare against them? It's a 3-1 loss. Okay, so we've dropped 3 of our first 5 games, which is not a great sign, and we're going up against a strong Nashville Predators team who whooped our butts in the first game that we faced them. We are now at the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. Can we get our 3rd win of the season, or will the Preds get their 6th win? Let's see how we fare here in game 6 of the season. And Riley is out with a concussion. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll do replace player for now, but I might have to call some up. And we win that one 5-2. Okay, so we do get our 3rd win of the season. You'll love to see that. I'm going to go to this game against Dallas. It'll be our first time against Jorian Donovan, and I think we're good to go. Keandre Miller would be in that second line position with Nikishin. So let's go against the Dallas Stars. I would jump in, but it's just going to take too long. It's just going to take too long. Let's go. Game 7 of the season. Quick simming this one. It's a 4-3 win. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Let's see how we do against the St. Louis Blues here, game 8 of the season. And Braden Schneider's now out with a concussion. I'm going to do replace player, but I know I have to call someone up at this point. But in game 8, we dropped that one 3-1 to the St. Louis Blues. So we're about a 500 team right now, and I'm not loving it too much as we go into this game against the San Jose Sharks. But first, I got to make some line change. All right, Riley's back in the lineup, and we have Benoit replacing Braden Schneider on that third pair with Juuso Välimäki. Let's see how we do game 9 of the season against a struggling San Jose Sharks team. Hopefully we can pick up a win here and get back into that winning column. Riley's fully healed, so that's great. I was nervous he'd get more banged up, but we dropped that one 4-3 in a shootout. Game 10 of the season coming up. We'll go through this game against the Bruins and then take a look at how our lines are doing. Let's see. Hopefully we can come out with a win here, make it 5-4-1 through 10 games. I'd love to see it. And I don't get to see it. We are 4-5-1 through 10, so we're off to a really rocky start so far. Let's see how everyone's done through 10 games, though. I don't think there's anyone really to blame, but maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe somebody's got like a -15 through the first 10 games. So let's see. Nikita Grebyankin is 8 points through 10 games with a +3. That's amazing. Matthews with 7 goals in 10 games and 9 points. That's not too... okay, 7 goals in 10 games is good. That's good. I can't say that's not too amazing because he's not over a point per game for a 96 overall forward. He's still doing good. Just want to see a little more. I want to see like a little bit of craziness. Mitch Marner with 10 points in 10 games is pretty damn solid. Logan Stankoven with 5 points in 10 games isn't bad at all. That's pretty damn good production. Fraser Minton with 7 points in 10 games. You love to see that. That's pretty good production. And then Nylander with 10 points in 10 games is great. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the Montreal Canadiens series, but I'm expecting players to go like over a point per game by large margins. Maybe the scoring isn't that high, or maybe we have too much of a diluted scoring because of how much scoring power we have on this forward core. Let's see though. Nicholas Robertson with 2 goals through 10 games and a -3 is not bueno. You don't love to see that. Tavares with 4 points in 10 games and a -1, so that third line is struggling a bit, probably because they're not getting the most ice time. Maybe I'll give them the starting role. And then Nyes with 4 points in 10 games and a -2 is not great either. So we're gonna make a little bit of a change to give them the starting line. Let's see though. Alex Iafallo with no points in 10 games and a -4, not good. Cowan with no points in 10 games and a -4, not good. And Foxa with no points in 10 games and a -3, not good. Those guys can't be the starting line. So we're going to give Robertson, Tavares, Nyes the starting role. And honestly, you know what? I have no problem bumping Cowan up and putting Robertson down on that third line, or on that fourth line. So we'll do Cowan, Tavares, Nyes on the third line, Stankoven, Minton, Nylander on that second line still, because that top 6 is doing pretty decent. Let's take a look at our new defensive acquisitions and how they're doing though. Keandre Miller with no points in 8 games and a -3 is not very bueno, but he's been a little banged up. Pesci with 1 point in 10 games and a -1. That's not bad. Riley with 2 points in 8 games, and +4 is pretty good. Nikishin with 7 points in 10 games and a +3 is damn good. Välimäki with 3 points in 10 games and a -1, not bad at all. And then Benoit with no points through 6 games and a -3 is not very bueno. As for our scratches, Braden Schneider had 1 point in 8 games and a +1, which is pretty decent. I want to give him more ice time though when he does recover. And you may be asking yourself, why haven't I pulled Hildeby from the net? This is why. 4 wins through 10 games and 926 save percentage, 248 goals against average, and 2 shutouts. He's been unstoppable. He's been almost unbeatable. He's getting us almost all the way. We just need that scoring power to push us over the line. So aside from changing around the bottom 6 a little bit, nothing really has been changed with the team in general. We're going to keep Hildeby in net at least for the next few games. I will invoke my rule of 2 now. If he drops 2 of the next 3 games, then I will put him in the backup role and give Samsonov or Woll a few starts. But let's see, against the Detroit Red Wings here at the Little Caesars Arena in Detroit, Michigan for game 11 of the season. How do we fare? Nikishin goes down to a pull groin. Oh my gosh. Okay, we're going to do replace player for now. I know that's going to put Holmberg in. We dropped that game 4-2. Okay. Now, you know what? He's dropped 2 of the last 3, so I'm gonna put him in the back. Okay, so it is Samsonov's net for now, and Holmberg is technically replacing Alexander Nikishin, but I do have Brett Pesci double shifting as we go into this birthday game for me against the Seattle Kraken at Scotiabank Arena. We have a tradition on this channel, or pretty much a legacy on this channel, where we haven't lost on the date of November 8th yet for any of our teams. So let's see if we can keep it going here against the Seattle Kraken. We're going to quick sim this one. Hopefully we can pull out a win here, or will we break this streak? And Välimäki is now down to an injured foot. Oh my gosh, okay. Our defensive core alone has gotten all of the injuries so far. I got to make a few line changes, then we'll see if we lost this one. Alright, hey, I'm back. Sorry, my recording did crash. We won that game against the Seattle Kraken. We went on to win a game 6-5 against the Carolina Hurricanes before dropping 2 straight to the Knights and the New York Rangers. I'm just about to make some line changes in order to get Ilya Samsonov back out of the net and get Hildeby his starts again. Alright, it is Hildeby's net once again, and also Juuso Välimäki returned from his injury, so we got him back in. We gave Elias Salmonson some shots in the NHL. I forgot to mention that I'd called him up in the wake of the injury to Juuso Välimäki, and he played 3 games and was a -7 with no points. So he's back at the lineup. Maybe he's a trade chip. I really want to see if he can develop, though. We still got at least another year or two after this year ends in our franchise mode left. So we'll see if maybe he can factor in the future, or maybe we trade him to win now, because we don't really have a spot for him on that right side. But let's get back into the simming here against the Winnipeg Jets. We're going to quick sim this one. It's game 16 of the season. We're looking for another win here, because we are starting to fall nasty into that loss column. And it is a 5-2 win. You love to see that. I'd love to get to the 500 record or above that before the end of this video. As I said, we're going to go to game 25 in this video. Let's see against the Pittsburgh Penguins here, though. Game 17 of the season, and it's a 4-3 overtime loss. Okay, not the greatest, but it's better than just getting a straight up loss. We at least get a point there. We're currently sitting 5 points out of a wild card spot that the Sabres currently occupy, so not looking too good. I mean, the Senators are going crazy so far to start the season with 15 wins and 17 games played. Whatever they got in their water, we need a bit of it. But let's see, against the Minnesota Wild here at the XL Energy Center for game 18 of the season, and it's a 2-1 win. Okay, so another win here, and it resets the clock for Hildeby. He will be able to stay in the net, but he needs to win here against a really struggling Vancouver Canucks team. Let's see how we do game 19 of the season. And Nikishin has returned to the lineup, so I do have to make some roster changes to send players down. And we did, unfortunately, lose to the Canucks 4-2. Okay, you hate to see that. Let's see how we do this back-to-back here against the Oilers and the Kraken. I'm gonna keep Hildeby in net. I'm gonna keep Hildeby in net. He's doing good. Let's see how we do against the Oilers. Game 1 of a back-to-back. And Dumoulin's available. 1 year left at $3.86 million. He's listed as a 78 overall, but he is a top 6 defender, so his morale is definitely in the gutter. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to take it. We're going to pass on that. And we do lose to the Oilers there, so unfortunately, Hildeby's lost the net again. All right, and with 20 games down, I thought I'd take a quick look myself to see who is struggling, and there is a big struggling player who's not going to remain on this team. He's going to be sent down. But let's quickly go through. Greg Yonkin currently has 14 points in 20 games, which is pretty damn good. Matthews with 15 goals and 25 points in 20 games. You love to see it. Marner with 26 points in 20 games. He's doing amazing. Stankoven with a -2 and 11 points through 20 games isn't too bad. It's not too bad at all. But I'm still a little concerned. We need him to step it up a bit. Minton with 11 points in 20 games and a -6. That's a little more concerning. And then Nylander with 18 points and a -5 through 20 games is very concerning. I want more pluses. I want better performances, and this is not it. But the big struggle is Easton Cowan. There's no points. 0 goals, 0 assists, and a -9 through 20 games. He's not getting any power play time, but he's not really warranting it. He's doing really bad. He's not going to stay with this team. We're going to send him down and see if he can do better with the Marlies. John Tavares, though, with 8 points in 20 games and a -7. I don't know what it is. Probably an effect of Easton Cowan and playing on the third line combined, but it's not looking good. And then Matthew Knies with 9 points and a -8 through 20 games is not good at all. So I'm going to be making some changes to this middle six, because now with the struggling of Stankoven and Minton, we can definitely make some changes. On that fourth line, Alex Iafallo has 1 assist through 20 games and a -6. He's not a fourth line player. He is a middle six player, and I would like to get him into that option, especially now that Cowan's coming out of the lineup. Robinson with 5 points in 20 games. That's not too bad. -5 is not that great, though. And then Foxy with -3. With a -3 and 1 assist through 20 games. Again, I've got him mostly just to be a penalty killer. That's it. I don't really care if he doesn't get a lot of points for us. Defensively, though, Keandre Miller has 1 assist through 18 games and a -4. I'm not liking that. I'm not liking that one bit. Brett Pesce with 4 points through 20 games and a -4. That line combination obviously isn't working together, so we're going to make a lot of sweeping changes and then go through a little test run before the end of this video. Riley with 6 points in 18 games and a -4. He had a really bad plummet playing with Solomonson, so he's starting to bounce back a bit. Still a little concerned, though. Vinny Iorio with 8 games played and a plus-minus of +1 is not bad. He's just filling in for a role, and as he did last season, he's doing great. Juuso Välimäki with 4 points in 17 games. We're going to see him get a little bit more of a boost in ice time because of how Keandre Miller is struggling. And then Benoit has played 16 games and is -3. I mean, he's filling in, but he's not doing that great. We will be seeing the return of Alexander Nikishin soon, though. He's just a little banged up. He has 7 points through 11 games and a +2, so I'm excited to get him back in the lineup. And I'm excited to see what Braden Schneider can do when he is fully healthy, too. I don't know how long he's out for. I think a little bit longer, though. All right, offensively, there were a few moves made. I'm still not glued to it, but again, as I said, we're going to go through a little bit of a trial period here. The team isn't in a deadly spot yet. I'm not as concerned as I could be if we were like doing much worse, but I'm still in a bit of a caution zone, so I don't want to do too many line changes that or line tests that could jeopardize our season. If you get off to a bad start, you can just be chasing for the entire season trying to catch up, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to try and even out and go into a plus record, but we still have to find lines that work. So Grabiank and Matthews Marner is working, they're staying together. Second line, I kind of flipped it. Okay, so you'll now see that Stankoven, Minton, Nylander are on that third starting line, and I think that's going to be good for them because it gives them a line chemistry boost still, and it gives them a little more ice time, in my opinion. And then we have Iafallo with Tavares and Nyes on that second line, and I don't mind switching Iafallo out with Robertson or seeing what works, but right now I want to see if Iafallo can give us a bit of a defensive boost on that second line, as his defensive category is insane. 88 defensive awareness, 91 shot blocking, 92 stick checking. Hopefully him and Tavares Nyes will work well together. And then the fourth line is just a little changed up. It's Robertson, Faxa, and Holmberg now, with Easton Cowan now down with the Toronto Marlies. Defensively, it's Riley and Iorio on that top pair, Valimaki Pesci on that second pair, and Keandre Miller and Simon Benoit on the third starting pair. Hopefully Miller can pull out of this rut. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's an ice time thing. I'll take a look between videos if he still struggles. But right now, it's a little bit of a cause for concern. And then in net will be Joe Woll's first starts of the season. I think he's ready. I definitely think he's ready for it. Hopefully he'll do better than the last 2 years, because he was a bit struggling last year especially. But let's go here. The last 5 games of the video, starting with the second half of a back-to-back against the Seattle Kraken, looking to get our 9th win of the season and try to catch up to that loss column. Let's see how we do. Gonna quick sim this one. I don't care who's ready. I think it's just Nikishin, and it's a 7-1 win. Already it's looking better. Already I'm liking it more. I'm going to make some quick changes. I think Nikishin's back, so I want to get him in instead of Iorio. Alright, Nikishin is back on that top line now with Morgan Riley. Let's see how we do in game 22 of the season against a really struggling Calgary Flames team. And that's the type of record that I'd be scared of. 6-14-2, that's below 250 win percentage, and that wouldn't be good for me. I wouldn't be okay with that. We are at least sitting around a 900 save percentage, or 900 win percentage right now, or 500 win percentage. Sorry, I'm being a little goofy here, and we're still only 4 points out of a wildcard spot. I think we can easily bounce back in if we start stringing together some wins instead of going 50-50 wins and losses. Let's see, against the Calgary Flames though, game 22 of the season, and Tverberg's injured down in the minors. I don't really care about that. It's a 7-1 win, another big win. Okay, we have caught up. We are 10-10-2 through 22 games. Let's see how we do. Second half of a back-to-back here against the New Jersey Devils, game 23 of the season. If we can get another win here, that would be absolutely great. And Grabiankin's down to a mild concussion. The injuries don't stop. We'll do replace his player now, and that's a 6-1 win. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's good. That's good. I was just talking about the fact that we needed to string wins together, and we are officially stringing some wins together as we only sit 2 points out of the bottom wildcard spot to the Detroit Red Wings. Game 24 of the season, second last game of this video. I'm starting to stumble and stutter, and that's how you know that I've been recording for too long. Let's go against the Minnesota Wild here. And Benoit goes down to concussion. We're just going to replace him. And it's a 7-3 win. Holy crap, we've been scoring non-stop lately. Oh my gosh. Okay, before I take a look at any of the lines, we are going to do this last game against the Philadelphia Flyers here. We have won quite a few in a row now. I think we are tied for the bottom wildcard spot. Only 6 points behind the Sabres for the top wildcard spot. We're looking pretty good. I mean, we're only 7 points behind the Canadians for second in our division. So we're doing pretty damn good. Let's see if we can keep it going against the Philadelphia Flyers to end this video off. All right, let's see. First period. And we're trailing 2-1 after one. Helgegrans gets the first goal, followed by Keandre Miller with a shorty. Just a little after that, then Matvei Michkov gets a goal for the Flyers, making it 2-1. Shots are 11-9 in favor of your Toronto Maple Leafs, but we're currently trailing. Let's see. Can we bounce back in the second period? Well, we do, but they also get one. It's Matthews notching one, followed by Oli Mata getting one for the Flyers, making it 3-2 before our Mitch Marner makes it 3-all. Good game. Good second period. I like that. I like that production there. Let's see if we can keep it going and come out with a little bit of an edge here in the third period. We don't actually do anything. It's Tyson Forster and Matvei Michkov both getting their, well, for Forster, his first and second goal of the game. Michkov getting his second goal of the game and putting this one nicely away for the Flyers 6-3. So you don't love to see that as much, but you know, I still like the wins that we were getting before that. We currently sit 12, 11, and 2 through 25 games in the season. Let's take a look at how each player was doing though, because we went on a bit of a torrid streak there with the amount of goals we were scoring. So after Greviankin went out, it was Denisenko sitting in, and Denisenko, he didn't do too bad. -1 through 2 games played, logging major minutes. That's not a lot, but it's not bad. Matthews with 23 goals in 25 games is crazy. He currently sits with 35 points through 25 games. You love to see that. Mitch Marner with 39 points in 25 games. You'd love to see that as well. Alex Iafallo with 3 points in 25 games. He's not doing that great. We're going to bump him down for Robertson right away. That's the first move we're going to make there. Robertson has 8 points through 25 games. So that's not too bad. Tavares with 14 points in 25 games and a -4. He's starting to bounce back, and you love to see that. Matthew Nyes with 9 goals and 17 points through 25 games. He's a -7, but he's definitely bouncing back. So it's working putting him up on the second line there. Logan Stankoven with 16 points through 25 games. Great production. Fraser Minton with 3 points in his last 5 games and 13 points in 25 games on the season is not too bad. Not too bad. And then Nylander with 23 points through 25 games. Pretty damn good for a guy logging third line minutes. He does good in limited minutes for some reason. On that fourth line, Foxa now has 5 points in 25 games, which is pretty damn good. And Holmberg has 2 points in 6 games with a +4. So maybe Robertson being there was working, and maybe this was working. Maybe I don't make line changes. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments down below what we should do with this forward core. Should we leave it, or should we keep it as the status, or should we change it up to see if we can get some players scoring? I'm jumbling up too many of my words. You guys might not know this because it's not going to be that long of a video, but I have been recording for well over an hour now with how long of delays there is between jumps and everything like that. It's a little, it's draining. Defensively, Morgan Riley with 8 points in 23 games and a +3, so he's definitely been more of a steady defenseman this season, which is very confusing considering I want him to put pucks in the net or toward the net. Maybe he's not getting power play time. I'll have to take a look between videos. Nikishin, though, with 12 points in 15 games, you'll love to see that. He is becoming a stud for us on the back end. And he's not even doing bad defensively. I can trust him with some defensive zone starts, so that's pretty damn good. Valimaki with 10 points in 22 games and a +2. Yeah, he is a top 4 defender in my opinion. I said it earlier in the video, and I'll say it again. He is a top 4 defender. Pesci with 9 points in 25 games. Those two do too well together to break them up. That's just how it is. Miller with 3 points in 23 games. Sorry, with a -1. Isn't that bad? I mean, it's better. And then Iorio with no points through 10 games, filling in and doing pretty good. Honestly, there were -2 on the bottom pair, but I don't mind that too much. Goaltending, Joe Woll was good. 4 wins through 5 games played, a .912 save percentage with a .251 goals against average. You love to see that. You love to see the brick wall bouncing back. And then obviously backing up was Dennis Hildeby with 6 wins through 17 games played, a .913 save percentage, a .284 goals against average, and 2 shutouts. So he wasn't getting wins, but he was giving us the opportunity to win. I think if we put him back in the starting net now, it would be crazy. But I'm not going to do that because Woll has earned his starts. That's what I was talking about. If a goalie can do it, a goalie can do it. That's why I have my rule of 2. If a goalie can break out of that slump and win 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a row, he's going to start every one of them, even if they're back-to-backs. I don't care. I go with the hot hand majority of the time. That's just how it is. So Hildeby, if he gets the chance again and he goes with it and he goes like 10, 12 in a row, or like 13, 1, and 2, I don't mind that. I can deal with that. But we got to give it to the hot hand as it is, and Joe Woll has been that hot hand. And then I just took a look down at how the Marlies were doing just for the sake of it. They're 15-1-1 through the first 17 games, with Blake Wheeler notching 26 points in 17 games. Maybe there's something to look at there. Wheeler's got 26, Bellows got 19, Kressler's got 17 and 17, Voigt with 16 and 17, Leonard with 14. There's a lot of scoring going on down there. I still have Jesse Alonen, who I want to get some NHL ice time to. Elias Solomonson with 11 and 12. Man, this team is going to be scary. I mean, Kapari's got 10 and 9. He's also a chance to come up. Everyone here in this top right here is NHL caliber. I could make a Toronto Marlies NHL team and call them all up if I wasn't afraid of losing players to waivers. That is just how it is. And then it has been Lawrence Brossoit's net the entire time. He is 15-1-1 with 6 shutouts through 17 games. Maybe he gets a shot in the NHL. Maybe if we don't have a goaltender, we give him a shot, because that's crazy. I mean, long story short, I know how to make a scary AHL team because the Marlies have done great in all 3 years that we've done, but I don't apparently know how to make a winning NHL team. But that's going to wrap it up for me in this one. I'm sorry if it's a little jumbled and jambled. I've been trying my best to get through this, but thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been a blast. A little shaky. I'm a little nervous about the future of this team, but I mean, in the first season, we were supposed to be a dead set contender, and we barely squeaked into the playoffs, winning in that 82nd game of the season to push us over the Boston Bruins into the playoffs, where we actually went all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals against the Winnipeg Jets. So, if that's the same as this season, and we barely squeak in, but we still make it, I don't care, because the playoffs are a different beast. We just need to get there, and then our team can dominate. But first, we need to make sure that this team is ready to get there, and right now, we're not. We're not even in a playoff spot as it is, and that's a little concerning to me, but that will hopefully change in the next video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you like this one, please leave a like down below. It only lets me know what type of content you want to see more of. If you really like it, then why not consider subscribing? Do it on a like a 30-day trial basis. If you don't like it after 30 days, you can unsubscribe. Your money back guaranteed, even though it's free either way. But thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys have been amazing, and leave some comments down below on what you think I should do with the Lions, or who you think I should possibly trade or trade for. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.